The gym lights were blinding the crowd a deafening roar, and with just 2 seconds left on the clock, Riverside High was down by 1. Aryan had the ball, the entire school chanting his name like always. He dribbled once, rose up for his signature fadeaway, the one that had won them a dozen games before. But this time his fingers trembled. The ball rolled off the rim, hit the floor, and the buzzer screamed. Silence swallowed the gym. For the first time ever, the unbeatable Aryan Malhotra had missed the shot that mattered most. He stood frozen, staring at the ball, while his teammates walked past him without a word. In the very last row of the bleachers, a girl no one really knew yet watched him wipe his eyes quickly, thinking nobody saw. Her name was Mira, and she had only been at Riverside High for 2 weeks. Aryan had always been the king of this place. Tall, easy smile, perfect grades, captain of the basketball team, the guy whose Instagram stories got hundreds of likes in minutes. Juniors copied his hairstyle. Seniors invited him to every party. Teachers used him as an example. But inside his house, everything was broken. 2 years earlier, his parents had divorced in the ugliest way possible. Shouting matches, lawyers, his dad packing bags in the middle of the night. His father moved to another city, started a new family almost immediately, and left Aryan to hold what was left. His mom worked double shifts at the hospital, coming home exhausted and quiet. His little sister Ria, only 12, still asked when Papa was coming back. Aryan became the one who cooked dinner, checked homework, tucked her in, and told her everything would be fine even when he didn't believe it himself. He smiled wider at school to hide the tiredness, played harder on the court to forget the shouting he still heard in his dreams. No one noticed he was disappearing. Mira Sharma came from a completely different kind of broken. Her family had lived in a small town until the factory her mother worked at shut down overnight. They sold whatever they could, packed into a tiny 2-room flat on the outskirts of the city, and started over. Her father drove a cab 12 hours a day. Her mother took whatever stitching work she could get at home. Mira learned early how to stretch money, how to cook on almost nothing, how to keep quiet when the electricity bill came. She carried a thick sketchbook everywhere, filling it with drawings that no one saw, city rooftops at sunset, tired faces on buses, hands holding tight to each other. Art was the only place she felt she could breathe. At Riverside, she kept her head down, wore simple clothes, and hoped to finish the year without drawing attention. They crashed into each other, literally, on her 3rd day. Aryan was walking through the cafeteria staring at his phone, reading another angry message from his dad about wasting time on games instead of studies, when he slammed straight into her. His entire lunch tray flipped, dal rice gravy splashed across her white curtain. The whole cafeteria went, ooh! His friends started laughing and filming. Aryan muttered, sorry, without even looking up properly, and started to walk away. But Mira's voice stopped him. Calm, steady. It's okay. Clothes wash. She met his eyes for the first time. But you look like you're carrying something that won't. He didn't know what to say, so he just left. Her words stuck in his head like a song he couldn't shake. A week later, the school made them partners for an art project. The topic was, what does strength look like to you? While everyone else drew superheroes or gym bodies, Mira painted a single tree in the middle of a storm, roots twisted deep into the ground, branches bending but not breaking. Aryan stared at it longer than he meant to. Why a tree? He finally asked. She shrugged. Because real strength is quiet. It just holds on when everything else is falling. That evening, he found her Instagram by accident. Simple sketches, honest captions, no posing. It felt like fresh air. Little by little, their worlds started touching. Mira joined the Cultural Fest committee because they desperately needed someone organized. Within days, she had color-coded plans, sponsor lists, poster designs that actually looked good. People started going to her without realizing it. Aryan noticed. One rainy afternoon, practice got cancelled, and he wandered into the empty art room where she was finishing a huge mural for the fest. He sat on a stool and watched her paint in silence for a long time. Then, without planning to, the words poured out. He told her about the divorce, about hearing his mom cry through the wall, about promising Ria things he wasn't sure he could deliver, about feeling like if he stopped being perfect, everything would collapse. When he finished, his voice was hoarse and his face wet. Mira put her brush down, sat beside him, and just listened. When he was done, she said softly, you don't have to fight every battle alone, Aryan. Sometimes the strongest move is letting someone stand next to you. That conversation cracked something open. Mira saw something in him no one else did. One evening, while they were cleaning paint brushes, she said, you're already famous here. What if we used it for something real? Charity, exhibition, games, live streams, maybe even simple merch. You play, I handle everything else. We could help both our families. He laughed at first, thought it was impossible. But the idea stayed. Slowly, she started managing small things, reminding him to eat when he forgot, making a study timetable that actually worked, planning weekend pickup games with a small entry fee that went straight to Ria's school trip fund and Mira's mom's medical tests. For the first time in years, he felt like someone else was helping carry the weight. Of course, it couldn't stay easy. His friends noticed the change. Vikram, his co-captain and supposed best friend, started making jokes. Bro, when did you start taking orders from the new girl? Rumors flew fast. Mira was using him. She wanted popularity. She was after scholarship connections. Someone made a fake account posting edited pictures of them. Aryan's dad called one night and shouted for 20 minutes, "I didn't raise you to throw your future away on some random girl and stupid side ideas. Focus or you'll end up with nothing." Mira's own storms got worse too. Her mother's health crashed, sudden hospital stays, bills that swallowed entire months of savings. Mira spent nights calculating numbers, crying silently so her parents wouldn't hear, wondering if she was selfish for dreaming of art college when her family needed every rupee now. The lowest point came 2 weeks before the inter-school championship. Aryan had the worst practice of his life, airballing shots, snapping at teammates, missing easy layups. After everyone left, he turned on Mira in the empty gym. "This whole manager thing was a mistake! You're just making everything more complicated," his voice echoed. Mira's eyes filled instantly. But she didn't shout back. She just nodded once, said, "Okay, if that's what you want," picked up her bag and walked out into the dark. Aryan stood there feeling the silence crush him. He didn't sleep that night, replayed every word, saw the hurt on her face. The next days were hollow. He skipped practice, ignored messages, let his phone die. He felt himself sliding back into the old darkness. Then one evening, a small package arrived at his door. Inside was a custom basketball jersey, deep blue with Team Aryan, stitched across the back in silver thread. Mira had designed it herself, every detail perfect. Tucked inside was a folded note in her handwriting. "Trees bend in storms so they don't break. Wars aren't won alone. I'm still here if you'll let me be." He found her the next day in the art room, painting over an old canvas like she was trying to erase something. He stood in the doorway until she looked up. "I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. "I was scared of needing someone, scared of failing if I let go even a little. But pushing you away hurt worse than any missed shot." Mira studied him for a long moment, then put her brush down and hugged him without a word. They didn't need more. From that day, they rebuilt stronger. Mira took charge like she was born for it, scheduling practices around study blocks, organizing a big charity exhibition match that sold out the school ground, designing posters and tickets herself. The money raised paid for Ria's annual school fees and covered Mira's mom's medicines for months. Aryan started opening up in small ways, posting a story about how pressure feels heavy sometimes, talking to his mom honestly for the first time in years. Slowly, people around them noticed the change, and some even started sharing their own struggles. The championship arrived like a storm. Riverside was up against their biggest rivals. The game was brutal, tied at the end of regulation, going into overtime. Aryan played possessed, but in the final minute, the score was against them by 8. Memories floods angry voice, the fear of letting everyone down. He missed 2 free throws in a row. The crowd groaned. From the bench, Mira stood up and shouted over the noise, "You're not alone out there, Aryan. Look at your team." He turned, saw her eyes steady on him, saw his teammates nod him. Something shifted. He took a deep breath, called a play they'd practiced 100 times, and they executed it perfectly. Steal, fast break, assist, three-pointers, steal again. 8 points in 90 seconds. The gym exploded. When the final buzzer sounded, Riverside had won by 1. After the medals and photos, Aryan found Mira outside under the floodlights. The air was cool, the sky full of stars. He walked up holding the game ball. "I couldn't have done any of this without you," he said. "Not the game, not the charity stuff, not surviving." She smiled, eyes shining. "You did the hard parts. I just helped carry the map." He laughed softly. "Then, Mira, will you be my manager? For real, not just basketball, for life." She looked at him for a long moment, then stepped closer. "Only if you promise to be my anchor when my storms come." He nodded. They stood there a long time, 2 kids who had learned that real strength isn't standing alone. It's choosing to hold on together.